Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to have two repeat guests joining me at the same time. First ever for Discover College Soccer. We like doing new things around here. So today we've got Orhan from Reeplayer and Colin from PlayerStat Data. Excited to talk to them both again. I've met a lot of college soccer coaches in person over the years, and these are two gentlemen who I've had the pleasure of meeting with in person as well. So excited to see them because it's been too long. But Orhan, let's start with you. Um, just tell us about what Replayer is in case some folks didn't see or hear that first episode when we talked about it. What are you guys doing these days?
Yeah, first of all, the pleasure is also mine. I love meeting with people and getting to know people that walk the walk, talk the talk in this industry because Replay started for the same reason. I was a former athlete, top goal scorer, ranked number one in the nation, and you would think something would happen from that, and nothing did because I only had pictures to show, and I don't think you can go far with pictures today. So and back then and ever. So it really came out of that need, and we're really in the business of reinventing youth sports media, democratizing this space to make youth sports footage autonomous with AI cameras and focus really on instant delivery of broadcasts and engagement and monetization. Because truth be told, there are way too many games, 2.5 million games to be exact, every week being played, never broadcast, never captured. For context, I always like to look this kind of numbers up. That's every week. That's more than what ESPN has broadcast since its inception. So just for context, we love to watch pro sports, but we're forgetting our youth here, and that's at replay, and for me as a former athlete, unacceptable.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, Colin, tell us about player stat data. What are you guys doing these days?
So similar to the lines of Orham with Replayer, it's what we look to do at PlayerStat Data is to provide the performance evidence back to the youth soccer space. And by performance evidence, I mean the kid in the car on the way home from a match, sitting at home with the parent or even the head coach, wondering what happened in the game, trying to trace back through a memory or some subjective analysis. And essentially, we're taking the match footage from our users, again, the individual player, the parent, or the head coach, taking the objective in game stuff, which is possession, defensive, attacking, goalkeeping, set pieces, and cutting out the guesswork around the player development pathway. It's here's what player A did in this game and has done over the last 10, 15 games, and we step back. We allow the coach, the player, the parent to interpret those data points, those video clips and events, ultimately to help the player to realize elements of their development that they may not have realized and to work on what they believe they need on the training ground and not rely on the what we're used to hearing in our careers. I think you could do better here. I believe you could be stronger at this, whereas our data solutions point to the objective evidence. Here's what you did in the game and back it up with the video. So everyone is able to get that clear picture of performance and takes, again, essentially taking the guesswork out of a player's development pathway.
Yeah. Awesome. And folks, what makes this podcast even better is we're representing about 9 hours in time difference here. We got Orhan in California, me in Florida, Colin in Ireland. It's fantastic that
Yeah.
we're all here at the same time. But again, both you guys, we've chatted before, and we all know that, especially right now in the age of AI and software development, things are iterating and getting better so quickly. It seems like every few months there's a new model of Chat GPT out or new this, that, and the other thing out. So, Rohan, tell me how has Replayer evolved since the last time you and I spoke? What's different now about the platform and what you guys are doing?
I think you bring up something really exciting and scary at the same time. I mean, everyone talks about it the same way, and I think it's good to address the elephant in the room. AI is iterating fast, we're adopting it fast, and then there are sides to it that we may not like, and those discussions is not part of this podcast, but that can go on, forever. um, which is also good to talk about. Some of which we'll touch on this podcast. There's a number of things I want to say. But what we do at Reeplayer is, we want to actually adopt the strengths of AI and not the parts that it likes to hallucinate and it likes to, the weak parts of its personality. So, I might call you up, Matt, if I want to start a podcast, but maybe not to play golf. I don't know. Maybe you're a great golfer, but
No, no, you hit the nail on the head with that one. Yeah.
so to oversimplify this, there are three pillars that we really focus on: broadcasting, engagement, and monetization. AI could be great at these things, and I'm happy to unpack those, but I think those are literally the missing layers to youth sports. And we're not reinventing anything other than our proprietary AI and our systems. We're just taking what's already working in pro sports and bringing that fully autonomous into youth sports. And I like to call it fully autonomous ESPN, to make it simple. Because once you grab one of these cameras, you just press a button and you're broadcasting. AI is doing that for you. Your audience is engaging, and we have some incredibly exciting things coming up early next year. We've been piloting it for some time, and people love it, and there's nothing like it out there anywhere. And then monetization, we're also releasing something really game changing early next year. This is being piloted with some of our club teams around the nation today, where they get to monetize just because they have a camera and they can broadcast. So um, there are areas that I want to say we don't get into. We touch our toes into. We're explicit about it. I go on a lot of sales calls myself, and I'll say, "Look, we do these things better than anybody else. By the way, shameless plug. This is one of those podcasts. We do deliver content faster than anybody else. In fact, as soon as the whistle blows to start the game, we're delivering the content already. You're not waiting 1 to 3 days to receive your content. So we really focus on that. And what we don't focus on is the type of stuff that Colin delivers, analytics, some of which we do, and we're explicit about what we're doing and what we're not delivering. And just like ChatGPT or whatever you might use might say, hey, check your answers. AI is not perfect. We say that too. And then we'll point you to Colin and say, if you want serious analytics, you want to wear the big boy pants and call the shots that way, then go in this direction. And when we talk about the partnership, I don't want to jump the gun for you. There's a couple of things I want to say because I'm already getting perked up about this. And I'll talk about that. But certainly what's been different, if I just want to kind of end it on this note to explicitly answer your question at the very end, is that we were very focused on capturing, meaning recording the experience. Now we're very focused on broadcasting, engaging, and monetizing the experience. So ESPN, fully autonomous. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And yes, you kind of you teased it a little bit. There is a reason I've got both these gentlemen on at the same time, and we'll get to that in a minute. But Colin, I know you and I have worked together a lot actually over the last few years, back and forth with PlayerStat Data with some myself, my daughter, some of our team actually piloting some things and checking out all the analytics and stuff like that. But what I first saw when we first met is way different than what PlayerStat Data is today. So talk to me about the evolution. How have you gone from A to B, and what does it look like now?
So I think when we first met when we met in person, Matt, it was Philadelphia. That's nearly 3 years ago. We had this holistic package where we had the technical side, the physical side, the socioeconomic, the mental side, and trying to bring all those bits together for that full development picture of a youth player. And over time, we realized actually we need to pare this back. We pare it back to what we were good at, and what we were good at was collecting effective, simple, objective player performance data outputs and giving it back to the end user. So within that, we then made things quite simple. We still kept an element of our speed in our users being able to access the data outputs and insights, and we upped our exposure to making sure that our stuff is right, that our stuff is reliable, our stuff is correct. So since we last spoke, we now have a mobile app that allows individual players and parents to get their game by game performance data breakdowns sent straight to their phones after they send us the match video footage. And we're moving pretty soon towards a web app that allows the coaching staff to access the entire team, all the players. But now we're going to allow players access to as well, giving them more granular view on their performances and development pathways through their laptop. So it was a change of focus around what we were doing instead of that entirely holistic 360-degree view of development to focusing on, I think it's 74 individual metrics and insights, delivering those effectively, delivering those accurately, and delivering those for the user that's looking for them. Regarding the offering as well, how we've changed it is we were direct to clubs and direct to teams only. And if a technical director said, look, it's not for us, or we don't want to add to the registration fees or whatever, that was us done. And we come back again next year. But we've added an element where the individual player or parent can now access the level of analytics that we offer. So if the head coach says no, the tech director says no, but four parents on the sideline say yes, we want it, we're now able to get it to those four parents. So it's similar to what Orhan mentioned about democratizing everything, leveling the playing field. We focused on the best data, or in collecting the best data, providing the best data, and providing it in the most controllable and flexible ways for our end users. So it's very user centric. Now it's very much focused on the player as to what the player needs, and within our kind of pricing mechanisms and token packs, full control goes back to the end user. So they pay us by the game in these token packs. So not has never happened with Reeplayer and never will. But if the video camera doesn't work for a particular game, you're not wasting money on a game that doesn't work. If the player comes off injured after 5 minutes, or if the player doesn't come on for the last 5 minutes, if the parent or player doesn't want to see that game analyzed, they don't have to. So it's really providing that exclusive, controllable experience for the end user. Every player is different, so we believe their analytics experience should match that, and we've created it and we're now providing it.
No, it's fantastic. And one of the things that I know PlayerStat Data has on the back end too is it's starting to clip stuff already. And a lot of this podcast is about the kids trying to go play in college. And as Orhan mentioned, he only had pictures, he didn't have video, and so now it sounds like you guys are having a partnership that's been announced. So I'll you guys pick who wants to talk to me about the partnership. What does it mean? What will it bring to? It's going to be Orhan. That's fine. What is the partnership? What does it mean to a player? For you know, I've got a kid trying to go play in college. Why is the player stat data partnership important? How will it help? The typical parent with a player, the player, etc.
Um, I I'm very excited about this partnership. Before I jump into that, I have to say a couple of words about Colin and everything he said because first of all, I didn't know where they came from to today. So that was news to me. And I've been talking to this guy for some time. And it looks like when you had your podcast, it was a while back and things were a little different. One thing I will say is that he's a very fun CEO to talk to. He cares a lot. I've talked to him on WhatsApp for hours. This guy will like put his kids to bed, come back and call me again and just geek out about, how he can serve the market better. Like that's always the thing. How can we serve the kids better? How can we make our services more affordable? How can we chop it up this way? And I am this way too. And we haven't met in person and we haven't talked about why we're this way. I would love to do that someday, Colin, and grab a drink, maybe all three of us or whoever else is on listening to this podcast. If you find us, corner us in a bar and let's have a good old conversation about how to raise the status quo because the two of us will do that. And then, even better, we'll go and F and deliver on that, regardless of the challenges. So, in front of everybody, I want to, thank and applaud Colin for always being on his word and carrying that. And if he needs to pivot, he always has a good reason, and I'm there with him. So hopefully we can continue that because these kind of, alignments don't happen very easily. And when they do happen, these things, people change status quo, and people make the IP happen and the tech happen. And this is sort of like my perspective and the way we've come as far as we've come because Reeplayer today has only raised, less than 3 million. And when you look at Trace, Vio, Pixelot, pick one out of the hat. 250 million plus, 200 million plus, right? And so, how is it that Reeplayer is US based? How is it that we're manufacturing and giving jobs to people in the US and shipping out of here and not overseas? So onshore operations. How is it that we're delivering content faster than anybody else? And why are we partnering with these guys and going in this path? And the truth is, I think we have a duty to uphold. I've always believed that we owe more to the athletes who trust in us with their moments. I was one of those kids. And as a kid, you have this belief in the back of your mind that adults are going to take care of you. That's their job. They're not going to let you down. As long as you do your best, they're going to lend a hand out and they're going to take care of you. And they show up, they put in the work, and the least we can do to make sure their efforts are seen, the least we can do is to make sure that their efforts are seen clearly and truthfully. And that truthfully part is where Colin comes in. So, we do believe in sports analytics, but we also choose data integrity over today's AI generated, what I call dirty data. When you go to ChatGPT or wherever you like to go and you ask for something, it can generate an image and give you 6 fingers on a human or a third arm, or it can give you a paragraph that sounds great, but then you're like, wait a second, is the data in here right? And then it says, I'm sorry, actually, that wasn't correct. And it hallucinates. And so I won't get into the weeds because we know how the sausage gets made. We're an AI company. I can sit here and just toot our horn about this and that and say, yeah, we can do analytics too. But today is not one of those days because I think that we need data integrity. I think that in a couple of years, people will wake up and say, AKA scouts will say, we need data we can trust. Last thing I will say is that I like to kind of also visualize this. If we have 100,000 athletes using AI analytics data, and we have 100,000 athletes using hard-earned data, whether it's human analytics that Colin is doing or trackers like those bras, who's actually earning their damn data? These kids are. And so are these kids that are earning that data getting punished? And again, like I was most of the time one of those kids, so I connect with those with that cohort, and we might be rewarding those that are receiving AI analytics. And we have a very strong stance and a line that we draw on the sand when it comes to this. I'm going to post something on LinkedIn very similar to this. I know we made the announcement with PlayerStat Data, but this is what the partnership is about. And, we want to make sure that, yes, you can broadcast. Yes, we'll give you some analytics, but then your core analytics which we might not even call it analytics, but your actual analytics that you're going to need and get, it's going to come from companies like PlayerStat Data. And we're working on these kind of integrations so that this is even more seamless. And you go right through our system, get the data you need, and PlayerStat Data is serving that need.
Yeah, and I guess that last bit is kind of exactly what I was wondering. So, what does this partnership integration, whatever you want to call it, what does it look like compared to someone who's used to VO or Trace or Huddle or Pixelot or whatever? Like what kind
You
of give me the,
broadcast
the
with a
difference, yeah.
Reeplayer camera, and you can shop around with whoever you want your analytics to be taken care of. You're not vendor locked. You're going with the person that you want. You're getting the best price. And the first one that we're announcing this partnership with is PlayerStat Data for all the right reasons. And so what it looks like is that you don't have to do anything. They'll pick up your footage, analyze it, and give you all your analytics. It should be simple, and it is as simple as that. All you do is tap a button, AI does your entire recording and broadcasting, and then PlayerStat Data picks that up, analyzes it, and gives you data with data integrity.
Colin, anything on that on the backside?
He's nailed it. Orhan has nailed it. I'd love to add more to it, but I will say to kind of peacock ourselves a little that Orhan said they've raised less than 3 million compared to the VOs and Trace and Huddles. We've raised zero. You're completely
Get me out of
bootstrapped at
this
this point.
podcast right now.
Yeah, so you give if we get your 3 million and we'll be in a great spot too. But yeah, look, we focused. Our main focus is this stuff has to be right, and there's horror stories, and I won't mention the analytics packages we've seen or the stories we've heard, but we've seen goals missed, teams winning 3-1, and they're logging in and see that they lost 2-1, and there's no there there's no trust built in a product like that. There's for the end user, the player, the coach, the parent, there's no end value, there's no utility. If they're paying for data they can't trust, how are they able to use it as evidence around, okay, I need to work on this, or maybe I should have done that? So we've just gone deep down into it and it made sure our stuff is right. How we've done that is through vastly experienced analysts that have watched well over 10,000 games each to this point across a variety of levels and a variety of companies. We have it in house. We have a quality control check process. We have something very simple whereby if we're doing a team game, when we have the score and the final score, that if the game finished 2-1 and yet we've only tagged 2 goals as an example, the system goes woo woo woo. There's something wrong here. So we've put in all these safeguards. We've put in a spot checking system, again raising zilch, because where else would the money go apart from your product? So we've put all this in. No fancy marketing, just this lovely Irish accent trying to get it out into the US world. But it's focus on the core product for us, which is data. Ours is right. Ours is easy to interpret, and ours is easy to use because it's right. So that's kind of what we're doing with the Orhan and everyone at Reeplayer is, okay, we have this product that we know is going to enhance the experience of all the Reeplayer users. But it's also that tick box. If for some mad reason one of Orhan's users doesn't want to use us, obviously I'd have to come over and just speak them into kind of coming around to our side, but the choice is theirs. Do they want this game analyzed? Tick yes. goes to us. Do they want this game analyzed? They just go past the tick and they get on with it. So it really is focused on that end user. And then when they do decide that they want to have this level of analytics and data output sent to them, when they do get it, they can trust it wholeheartedly. And the day that we get something wrong or we miss something that we shouldn't miss, it's going to be an absolutely damning day for us as a company because we pride ourselves on getting every single thing right. And with the quality of footage we've seen from Reeplayer, from the fact you just don't see the camera go down. You know, we've worked with a lot of different camera systems, and what we do and different weather systems can affect the quality of the footage, which means it's difficult for us to capture, is that the number 11 on the other side or is it the number 10? Elements like that, which leads into our integrity side of things. We're not going to guess, but it's difficult with certain video outputs at times to be able to identify, is that the number 8? Is it the number 9? With Reeplayer, it's just such an excellent
Oh, and I think I want to also, if I may say, when we get this integration will have, versions to it. When we get into the phase of getting you guys data, even instantly during a live broadcast, that only expedites the turnaround time on everything too. So I like to say, always remind us that sports is best live, and we want 2-day delivery from Amazon, and we want everything right away because that's when we need it. So and that's our job, is to get the data, which is the video, into Colin and his team's hands sooner than anybody else so that they can do what they do. But yeah, man, Colin, really, I just want to say on this podcast too, while I have you here, thank you for believing in all the things that you do. And I think the key word there is trust. As long as you're a trustworthy person, right? People will do business with you. And I think your business is the same way. And you guys are based on trust here. And too many times on my sales calls, I hear, I use X service, I won't name a name, and it could be any. It only captures my daughter's analytics 30% of the time. Yeah, I have no response. Like, that's a hard pill to swallow. So I think we're out of time, but I can unpack that and talk to you for 10 hours about the problem behind that statement.
Well, and I don't want to keep you guys here super long, but I got one last question for you. I mean, I'll do it through the selfish lens, right? So my oldest daughter, she's already committed. She'll be in college next year. Uh, but I gotta, a boy's about to turn 11. So 3, 4 years, he's gonna be in high school. He might be looking at trying to play in college, capturing video of his games and stuff. We talked about the evolution of where you guys have been 3 years ago to today, but what do you guys have on your roadmap? Where do you see this going? As things expedite so rapidly and technology keeps changing, what can we expect for my son when he's ready to getting into this?
Colin,
This
I think
comes
you go
back.
first, man. I've been going first, so
Yeah,
please.
because Orhan is the dreamer. I must say, he is the dreamer of this. Some of the conversations we've had, some of the long phone calls. It's a lot of what we can do. Look, we obviously won't go into a huge amount of detail on what is possible. There's a lot of stuff we need to look into and test and iterate and whatever. But every single idea that Orhan seems to come up with is about stripping back a kind of a layer and making it that bit more accessible to the end user, that bit more relevant and valuable to the end user. Does you see, for example, a huddle report that you give you 20, 30 pages on a team breakdown, a player breakdown, but ultimately for each individual user, how much of that is actually important. So I think as we move towards nearly personalizing elements of the analytics, I think that's something that I'm kind of excited about. The goalkeepers don't want to see shots on target. They don't want to see, this. They want to see stuff specific to them, and even specific to a particular game. So I believe that one of the things I'm really looking forward to is giving even greater control and power back to the end user to really pick what they want to see from particular games, and for it to reflect in in their cost. So it's yeah, there is an awful lot we can do. There really, really is, over 12 months, 24 months, and it's going to cost Orhan a lot of his 3 million that he's raised to try and keep us on board, which will be important. But yeah,
We'll get more.
it's definitely a case where okay, we're here now. Here's what we've done. What can we add for the to the end user that will make it more valuable, more relevant, and more efficient? So we're always looking at what's the next. Now, Orhan, over to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you nailed it. I think for the long-term vision between us, what I will say is focus on the word trust. That becomes the writing on the wall. Like Ted Lasso says, believe we have trust on the wall. And because sooner or later, people realize the importance of what that means, data integrity. And when you're talking about your son or your daughter, all and millions of kids that are in those shoes, they're gonna need that. If they want to get scouted, they're gonna need that. And what I mean by that also then is freedom of choice. That's the next thing. Freedom of choice, that you can pick any analytics service, not because someone paid money to your association, your league, whatever it is, and became the go-to-market choice for that reason, not because your club made some decision based on their needs, but anyone can make that decision. Like Colin said earlier, I'm a parent, I'm a goalkeeper coach, or I'm Matt, my son plays in so and so position, and I want the analytics for him. Therefore, I'm going to go and get it because I can do that. No one's holding me back from it. I have the freedom of choice to go and get my analytics service from anywhere. And that's what Reeplayer does. We open the ecosystem. You can capture your content, and that's yours. You're the talent. You're the owner of the footage, just like any other talent is. And you can take that anywhere and get what you need. And we will create that opportunity for you. The next thing I want to say, this is big, and I haven't publicly announced this, and I'll say it here for the first time,
Oh,
is
Breaking
that
news. All right.
yeah.
our 2030 Colin is giving us $3 million.
Yeah,
uh,
like Dr.
so
Evil. Yeah, $3 million
yeah, yeah.
dollars.
It's even better than that. No money could replace this. Really, truthfully, our 2030 goal as a company for Replayer, we want to help reduce or eliminate pay to play in the United States. And people listening to this will cackle, they will laugh, or raise an eyebrow and say, how the F are you going to do such a thing? Everyone and their mother on X, on any forum, on any podcast, are, for as long as I can remember, talks about how this is such BS and I hate it and this angle and that angle. You know what I compare it to? And with all due respect, my neighbor's house is burning, and all the other neighbors are like, my neighbor's house is burning. They just keep saying that. No one calls the fire department. Well, we are gonna be the fire department. And we've been piloting something for the last 6 to 8 months, and we see light at the end of the tunnel. Stay tuned for more. We will share more, but this will be a collective effort. Replayer is a for-profit company, yes, but this is our market. When your kids put on those cleats and step on that grass and play their heart out, we all have a job. Matt has a podcast because of your kids. I make the cameras we do and the software we do because of those kids stepping on the pitch. So does Colin and every coach and every league, president, and so on and so forth. This market is bigger than NFL, NBA, MLB, MLS, English Premier League combined just in the United States. I'm talking about the youth sports market. Go and look it up. It's a disgrace that we depend on two revenue streams: parents' pockets, travel costs, basically, and club fees. That's it. Travel costs and club fees. That's the best we can do. Is 2025. Well, we're gonna change that. We're seeing light at the end of the tunnel, and Colin is part of this big mission. But Replayer is also on the monetization side doing some very, very cool things. So if you want to be a part of it, check out our site. Go on the mission tab, read that, and then we'll probably make an announcement sometime in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Well, You heard it here first. We'll get the more details as they come, but excited. And hey, I just want to thank both of you for jumping on, for what you guys do. You know, I'm the scrappy upstart podcast here, just as you guys are the scrappy upstart startups fighting the man, and but I'm excited to see what the partnership brings. The seeing more red cameras on the sidelines than I do now, and seeing more data on people's phones and seeing what's going on. So excited for what's to come. Thank you, gentlemen, and so I guess I'm in the middle. So you guys just have to fly to Florida for that beer, all right? And I'll buy, all right?
Happy days. Happy days. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, no, it's probably closer to go to the Bahamas, maybe. Is it? That's probably
No,
more halfway.
yeah, well,
I like
okay,
how I'm
fine.
thinking.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. All the
All right.
best.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, Matt. Thank
Cheers.
you.
See ya.